But when you get to the wide receiver position, so I guess we're gonna consider the wide receiver position, the tight ends too, the pass catchers all together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they really just have two guys that are like really, really special. Well, I don't want to say really, really special, but I think two guys that's really going to be leading from the pack with the wide receiver group, and that's going to be Deuce and the Pittman Jr. dude. I heard Pittman Jr. is like
Yeah.
looking really, really
Tight end.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, the
tight
tight
end.
end,
Mm-hmm.
which he's
Right.
like a move guy that they're going to use everywhere. So from what I've been hearing, he's like their guy, like that. Like he's gonna have 50 or 60
Okay.
catches. Gonna run the ball a little bit. He's gonna do like a little bit of everything, and they're gonna really feature him. And they're gonna use Deuce to be more the big play, red zone guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
those two guys, and like I said, my hope is that Boggs come along, and whatever you get from Elijah Moore,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like Jalen Lucas, I think Jalen Lucas is gonna break some big plays next year. I really do. I think but that's not a guy that you can really give the ball to 10 times a game or 15 times a game. You don't really want him touching
Right.
the ball like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what you think about that?
Yeah. I agree with you on Deuce. I mean, with that, with that size, being I think what 6'6". Um,
Yeah.
and his he has speed. I think he moved around a little bit, not only just the outside but in the slot. I'm interested to see
Mhm.
that. Another guy that I'm interested is a Squirrel White though, the guy from Tennessee,
Right.
because he provides that kind of track speed, that kind of a home run hitter. I'm trying to kind of interested to see how he's going to be incorporated into the offense. You're hoping you get something from Danzy with his speed.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm really hoping, man, because you remember last year when Malik Benson and Jalen Brown came in, they were supposed to be, a nice little 1-2 punch, and neither one materialized that much. And I think Jalen's a redshirt sophomore now, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Y-
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see what he can do also. Because I mean, they have a lot of bodies, or a
They
lot of
got
bodies,
bodies
but
if they can keep
it's
them
just
healthy.
yeah, they can keep him healthy. And of course, the big one for me, who I want to see take a leap, is Hakeem Williams, because
Yeah.
he came in with all the 5-star hype, and now he's going into year 3, and we barely seen anything.
You know what's weird about him, man? He looked so explosive his freshman year when he came in. Remember he caught the
Did
pass against Syracuse? He looked, I
get
mean,
Syracuse? Yes.
he
Yep.
looked like a legit, like, okay, this is like Julio Jones running down the field. Like this dude's
Hmm.
big, strong, and fast.
Yep.
And last year, I know he had the hamstring injury, but the big thing that was coming, I remember when he came out of school because Texas A&M was recruiting really hard too. A&M, Miami, and
Hmm.
Florida State.
Right.
And the one thing I heard about him was it was always this thing with him where they felt like it was going to take him a while to reach his potential because he hadn't played against great, great, great talent where he was. He wasn't playing against great, great, great talent. And they
Hmm.
said that he wasn't a great, like one of those top workers. Like some guys really work at their craft. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
that's really hard workers. And big guys, it takes longer for big wide receivers to
Hmm.
be good, like good technicians at wide receiver. So somebody told me like Jimbo plan was to redshirt him for a year and really give him time to really work on himself, right? To really become a good route runner. And we know with Jimbo offense, it does take time for wide receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I thought with Mike getting him because Mike wide receiver tree, they don't really run a lot of special routes. I mean, a lot of it's just back shoulder.
The back shoulders
You know what I'm
goes.
saying? Get to the,
Hmm. Yeah.
get to the seams, deep,
Hmm.
maybe a post here and there, but it's not a lot of special
Yeah.
routes in
Deep
it.
crossing routes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. So it's not a lot of special things to do. And he's just taking forever to get there. So I know a lot of people kind of blame his development on Dugans. I don't really know if that's completely 100% on Dugans, but I knew that people kept saying it was going to take him at least 2 or 3 years to be that guy. But he just looked heavy, man, when he came into camp this year. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused with the off season with some of these guys that came into camp. I'm like, how these guys so banged up, and this guy's heavy, and this guy got to lose weight. But then some of the guys are in shape. So I'm just like, I think that's something I thought Mike would kind of have cleaned up in year 5, especially with him saying he's gonna make all these changes. I thought the off
Yeah,
season would be where we would see the most amount of changes. I did hear they're practicing harder as far as they're tackling more in practice now. So that's
hmm,
good because they wasn't doing a lot of tackling last year in practice. So
no,
yeah, so that's good.
yeah. It's just you hearing that saying that you heard that Hakeem is not a or a good worker. That concerns me a lot
Well,
because
I want to put
the
it in. I want to put it in context, though. I'm not saying
okay,
he's
okay,
lazy. I want to put it in
okay,
context. I'm saying most time when you get guys that are like 5 stars, a
hmm,
5-star wide receiver, like people consider those guys to have a certain amount of pedigree, right?
right,
Like they're gonna do the extra work. Like like they were saying, like Marvin Harrison Jr. when he get to Ohio State, they were saying how this dude would catch 50 balls before practice,
hmm,
run every route in practice. Then after practice,
yep,
he's catching another 50, 60 balls. After practice, he's running stadiums. He's, what I'm saying? Like he was always working from day one when he got to campus. Like that's I mean, Marvin Harris Jr. Was a special wide receiver. I'm just saying
very special.
it's just certain pedigree that you get with guys. When you see a guy's a 5-star, like Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's a 5-star. Certain
Yeah,
amount of pedigree of Travis Hunter that you get with that guy, that he's going to be a hard worker. He's going to be diligent in the film room. Like
hmm,
they're gym rats. Like Lamarcus Joyner, he was a gym rat. Like you couldn't kick. Like Lamarcus Joyner spent all his time at just nothing but football, nothing
yeah,
but film all the time. And everybody's not like that. But that's
right,
kind of reserved for 3-star guys. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
So
yeah.
um I don't want to say he's lazy. I'm just saying I don't know if he's the worker that you probably thought you got, like a guy that I in my mind, if you get a 5-star wide receiver, that's a guy that's gonna come in and set the culture in that
Exactly,
room. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
He's gonna be the guy.
yeah, and you watch enough football to know that like a position like receiver is very nuanced and very detailed.
Right.
So it comes how to run routes, separate from routes and all that. So like footwork and all those things. So you have a guy that's not really willing to work that hard. That's concerning to me. I hope that's not the case. I hope it improves if that is the case. But yeah, he's probably the one that's I've had the biggest light on just because there was so much hype coming in, 5-star guy. He was like the prize recruit of that class,
Right.
you know. And he's 2 years in, and we barely even got a starting block. So yeah, man, he's the one that I really hope is the one that stands out the most because he had the biggest light on was him. And going back to Javon Boggs. I mean, he just set the world on fire this past
Yeah.
season as far as his high school. He's setting all these records and all this
And I
stuff.
heard
He's
that guy. I heard that guy's a worker. Like I heard that guy's a
yes,
worker.
me
You know
too,
what I'm saying? Like
me
he's a
too,
he's a
me
gym
too.
rat. He's a worker. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
exactly. And he's a high end 4-star guy. So um, you know, I think outside of Hakeem Williams, it's probably Javon just because I think he's gonna have to play early. I think he's probably gonna play a lot early. So interested to see, how that chemistry with him and Castellanos. You remember when they first got these guys, Deuce and Castellanos and all them, they were all already putting in work, all taking pitch together, already putting in that work. So I'm hoping that really helps this group, find the guys that they need that, to get this offense back to where it was. As you know, last year's offense was just terrible from top to bottom, from the O line, the running backs, the quarterbacks, the receivers, everything was bad. The only really kind of bright spots they had was probably the young tight ends, with Landon and Amari Williams. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just it's Hakeem the big one, Javon of course, and but I do agree with you that I think Deuce Robinson, like he has a chance to come in and like be like the alpha. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that concerns me with Deuce Robinson is like his body type don't allow you to do a lot with him. I know Mike is like really obsessed with like 6'6", 6'7" wide receivers. Me personally, I don't like wide receivers that big unless they're special. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
prefer the
Yeah.
6'2" guy. I prefer 6'2", 6'3" and below. I don't
Yeah.
like
Right.
guys being 6'5", because those guys can't get in and out of breaks. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I prefer the 6'2" guys, but Mike loves 6'7", 6'6". So I know they've
Yeah,
been working a lot on the back shoulders and the jump balls, and I would like for them to do. I just think with guys like Boggs, Squirrel White, I think you can do more with them in the offense. So
of course.
how Gus Malzahn incorporate those guys into the offense, to me, is going to tell you whether this team is going to be like a high ceiling on offense. Like, are they going to be a team that's going to constantly get into the 30s on offense? Are they going to get bogged down? Because sometimes with Gus, even when he was at UCF, the offense would get bogged down for quarters at a time. You know, they would get explosive sometimes. Like when it's
Hmm.
going, it's great.
It's going. It's going. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's going, it's great. But when it's not going, man, it is a train wreck. So hopefully Gus and Mike together can put something together where they got a more competent passing game. That's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
that's my hope for them. You know,